lit up Hollywood in the 90s, but where did they go? From action legends to trailblazing actresses, these Chinese stars weren't just part of the story, they changed it. Some became global icons, others disappeared from the spotlight, and a few, they came back stronger than ever. This is the untold journey of 20 Chinese actors who took Hollywood by storm and what their lives look like now. Get ready for surprises, comebacks, and legends you forgot you missed. At number 20, Kelly Hu, Cassandra, Sorceress and the Scorpion King. She ruled the screen with beauty and power. Kelly Hu, born February 13th, 1968, made waves in the 90s with her roles in Sunset Beach and Martial Law, but it was her fierce performance as the sorceress Cassandra in The Scorpion King, 2002, that made her a fan favorite in action fantasy. A former Miss Teen USA, Kelly wasn't just another pretty face, she brought strength, depth, and presence to every role. But she didn't stop at one-hit stardom, she kept the momentum going. In the 2000s, she voiced characters in hit shows like Phineas and Ferb.
Wait a minute, it says right here in your silly little pamphlet that if your host family finds out about your agent status, then everyone who's seen you has to have their memory erased.
And Teen Titans, and took on major roles in Arrow and The Orville. Today, she's a regular in genre television, animation, and video games, and she uses her platform to support Asian American representation in Hollywood. At number 19, Mark Dacascos Louis Stevens in Only the Strong. He brought capoeira to the big screen and made it cool. Born February 26, 1964, Mark Dacascos exploded into action fame in the 90s with Only the Strong, Double Dragon, and Crying Freeman. With his martial arts background and intense energy, he carved out a unique place in Hollywood's action scene. But Mark didn't vanish when the martial arts craze faded, he reinvented himself. In the 2000s, he became the chairman on Iron Chef America, blending drama with cuisine.
Scallop! Mushrooms! Crab! Cheese! Squash!
Then came his villainous turn in John Wick. Chapter 3, Parabellum, proving he still had the moves. Now in 2025, Mark is active in martial arts communities, acting and directing indie projects focused on culture, discipline, and action. At number 18, Jason Scott Lee as Bruce Lee. In Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. He played the legend and became one himself. Born November 19th, 1966, Jason Scott Lee gained massive attention in the 1993 biopic Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. His powerful performance captured Bruce's passion, pain, and physical mastery. It made him one of the few Asian male leads in Hollywood during the 90s. But when Hollywood didn't know what to do with him, Jason went back to his roots. He focused on his Hawaiian heritage, working in local theater, sustainable farming, and martial arts education. He returned to the spotlight with a darker role in Mulan 2020, showing he could still command the screen. Now he balances life between acting and cultural advocacy. At number 17, Rosalyn Chow Rose Sue Jordan in The Joy Luck Club. She gave quiet strength a voice. Rosalyn Chow, born September 23, 1957, became a household name in the 90s through The Joy Luck Club, a landmark film in Asian American cinema. She was also beloved in sci-fi circles for her recurring roles in Star Trek, The Next Generation, and Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Those kids had no reason to be hanging around the promenade.
It's about the only place they have to go. We can't keep them locked in their room.
But while others chased the limelight, Rosalyn stayed intentional. She worked selectively in TV and film, often choosing roles that reflected authentic Asian American experiences. In 2020, she returned in Disney's Mulan remake, showing a new generation what grace and presence look like. Today, she continues acting, mentoring, and advocating for more diverse stories on screen. At number 16, Tai Chin Auntie Lindo in The Joy Luck Club, she brought wisdom, warmth, and wit. Tai Chin, born September 30th, 1936, is a true pioneer. Before her iconic role in The Joy Luck Club, she was already breaking ground in British cinema and theater. In the 90s, her performance as Auntie Lindo helped shape one of the most important films about Asian American identity. But Tsai's story didn't stop there. It kept evolving. She returned to prominence with Memoirs of a Geisha, and in 2021, she appeared in Marvel's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, connecting generations of filmgoers. Now, in her late 80s, Tai Chin continues to be an active voice in theater and cultural storytelling, proving that age is no limit for greatness. At number 15, Carrie Hiroyuki Tagawa, Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat. He didn't just play villains, he made them unforgettable. Born September 27th, 1950, Carrie Hiroyuki Tagawa etched his name in pop culture with one line, "Your soul is mine."
Your soul is mine.
His portrayal of Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat 1995 was sinister, stylish, and so powerful it defined the franchise for decades. He also appeared in Rising Sun, Showdown in Little Tokyo, and countless other roles where his presence demanded respect. But his path took a turn to a very different stage. In the 2010s, Carrie became a Russian citizen and focused on spiritual and cultural work while continuing to act. He starred in The Man in the High Castle and made appearances at conventions worldwide. Today, he's a revered figure in genre cinema, blending his on-screen legacy with global cultural projects. At number 14, Ken Leung-sang in Rush Hour. He was the guy you couldn't forget, even if he had just a few scenes. Ken Leung, born January 21st, 1970, started popping up in major films in the late 90s, most memorably as the ruthless assassin sang in Rush Hour, 1998. But what followed was even more impressive. Strong performances in X-Men, The Last Stand, Lost, and Star Wars, The Force Awakens. Ken didn't chase stardom, he built a career on substance. From HBO dramas to indie gems, he's known for bringing depth and intelligence to every role. Most recently, he's gained attention in industry, playing a sharp-tongued banker with emotional complexity. In 2025, Ken continues to be one of Hollywood's most reliable and underrated character actors. At number 13, James Hong Lo-pan in Big Trouble in Little China. He's been in everything literally. Born February 22nd, 1929, James Hong has one of the longest acting resumes in history, with over 700 credits across film and TV. In the 90s, he was a staple in Hollywood. Wayne's World 2, Seinfeld, Mulan, and countless voice roles. His ability to shift between comedy, drama, and villainy made him a go-to for decades. But time never slowed him down. He only picked up steam. In his 90s, James voiced Mr. Ping in the Kung Fu Panda franchise.
Everyone is afraid of change, Paul. Even me. All I wanted to be was the greatest.
Was honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2022 and appeared in Everything Everywhere all at once. In 2025, he remains a working legend, proving that passion has no age limit. At number 12, Vivian Wu in The Joy Luck Club. She carried elegance into every role. Vivian Wu, born February 5th, 1966, became an international star with her roles in The Last Emperor and The Joy Luck Club. She was magnetic, sophisticated, and brought a quiet strength to the screen. Her fluency in both English and Mandarin helped her move seamlessly between Hollywood and Chinese cinema.
I'm sorry that you got stuck with such a loser. That I've always been so disappointing.
But she didn't chase the spotlight, she chose her path carefully. In recent years, she starred in the Netflix sci-fi series Away and continued her work in art house films. She's also an advocate for mental health and cultural identity through film. In 2025, Vivian balances acting with activism, making sure her stories resonate on more than one level. At number 11, Lucy Liu, Alex Monday in Charlie's Angels. She wasn't just part of the team, she redefined what it meant to be a badass. Lucy Liu, born December 2nd, 1968, broke barriers with her role as the brilliant, tough, and stylish Alex in Charlie's Angels, 2000. But even before that, she was stealing scenes on Ally McBeal and in Shanghai Noon. She was one of the first Asian American women to headline blockbuster films. But Lucy wasn't done trailblazing. She expanded her power. She voiced Viper in Kung Fu Panda, played a chilling villain in Kill Bill, and took on TV roles like Watson in Elementary and Calypso in Shazam. Fury of the Gods, 2023. She also directs and produces, and in 2025, she continues to champion Asian American storytelling across media. At number 10, Joan Chen, Josie Packard in Twin Peaks. She was mysterious, magnetic, and unforgettable. Joan Chen, born April 26, 1961, was already a star in China when she burst onto Hollywood's radar in The Last Emperor. In the 90s, she became even more iconic as the enigmatic Josie Packard in Twin Peaks. She also gave a powerful performance in Heaven and Earth and helped bring nuanced Asian characters to American screens.
My family lived in the village of Gila, in the shadow of the mountain, in the time before the war.
But Joan wasn't content to just act. She started shaping the stories herself. She moved into directing, crafting emotional, intimate films like Shoo Shoo, The Sent Down Girl. Today, she acts selectively in both American and Chinese projects and continues to advocate for authentic Asian storytelling. In 2025, Joan remains a creative force, both in front of and behind the camera. At number 9, Russell Wong Jianhua in Vanishing Sun. He was the martial arts heartthrob of the 90s. Born March 1st, 1963, Russell Wong made waves as the lead in Vanishing Sun, one of the first American TV series to feature an Asian male lead. With his sharp looks and martial arts skills, he became a fan favorite in Romeo Must Die and the Joy Luck Club. But Russell wasn't chasing just action roles, he was building something deeper. In the 2000s, he pivoted toward independent films, mentoring younger Asian American actors and exploring his roots in projects based in Asia. He still takes on occasional roles in film and TV, while remaining active behind the scenes. In 2025, he's regarded as a quiet pioneer, one who opened doors by walking through them first. At number 8, Bai Ling. Bai Lin in Red Corner. She didn't play by Hollywood's rules, she made her own. Bai Ling, born October 10th, 1966, became known for her bold roles and bolder personality. From The Crow to Red Corner, she brought a raw, unpredictable energy that made her stand out in the 90s. She was fearless in an era when many Asian actresses were asked to play it safe. But Hollywood wasn't always ready, so Bai blazed her own trail. Though she faced controversy and typecasting, she stayed fiercely independent. In the 2000s, she leaned into indie films, experimental roles, and fashion. In 2025, Bai remains an icon of rebellion and self-expression, acting, writing, and occasionally shocking the red carpet with her signature flair. At number 7, Sima Mr. Young in Rush Hour. He made supporting roles unforgettable. Sima, born June 10, 1962, became a go-to actor for intelligence, authority, and depth. In the 90s, he played Mr. Young in Rush Hour and appeared in The Replacement Killers and Dante's Peak. Whether as a diplomat, dad, or villain, he brought quiet power to every role, but over time, the spotlight shifted right to him. In the 2010s and beyond, he starred in acclaimed projects like The Farewell and Mulan 2020, where his performance as a devoted father brought many to tears. In 2025, he continues working steadily and is known not just as a character actor, but as a pillar of Asian American cinema. At number 6, Gong Lee Juxian in Farewell, My Concubine. She was elegance, fire, and screen royalty. Gong Lee, born December 31st, 1965, wasn't just a star, she was a phenomenon. With films like Raise the Red Lantern, Farewell, My Concubine, and The Emperor and the Assassin, she redefined what Chinese cinema could be and brought it to global audiences. Even in Hollywood, she carried the gravitas of a queen, but she didn't rest on her past. She kept pushing boundaries. She starred in Memoirs of a Geisha, Miami Vice, and most recently as the powerful Xianyang in Mulan 2020. In 2025, Gong Lee continues to act, often in roles that explore female strength and identity. She's also a cultural ambassador and artistic icon respected on every continent. At number 5, Maggie Chung Maggie in The Mood for Love. She didn't just act, she mesmerized. Maggie Chung, born September 20th, 1964, was one of the most acclaimed actresses of her era. After winning Miss Hong Kong runner-up, she transitioned into film and dominated the 90s with hauntingly beautiful performances in Center Stage, Irma Vep, and finally in The Mood for Love, a film so iconic it became a cinematic blueprint for romance and longing. But just when the world wanted more, she stepped away. Maggie quietly retired from acting in the mid-2000s, choosing to focus on art and music. She lives in Paris and occasionally makes rare appearances at festivals or events. In 2025, she remains a symbol of elegance and mystery, a reminder that sometimes legends choose silence. At number 4, Michelle Yeoh Lin in Tomorrow Never Dies. She kicked down the door, then owned the room. Michelle Yeoh, born August 6, 1962, was already a star in Hong Kong action films before she went global as Bond girl Wai Lin in Tomorrow Never Dies. She shattered stereotypes not just as a female action lead, but as a powerhouse actress who did her own stunts and commanded every frame. But she didn't peak in the 90s, she just got started. In the 2000s, she starred in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and a string of international hits. And then came her crowning moment, Everything Everywhere All at Once, which earned her an Oscar in 2023, the first Asian woman to win Best Actress. In 2025, Michelle is a global icon, starring in the Avatar sequels, Marvel's Multiverse, and whatever story she decides to conquer next. At number 3, Chow Yun Fat John Lee in The Replacement Killers. He was the definition of cool under fire. Born May 18th, 1955, Chow Yun Fat made his mark with John Woo classics like A Better Tomorrow and Hard Boiled. When he arrived in Hollywood in the 90s, he brought that same gritty elegance audience to The Replacement Killers, Anna and the King, and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, 2000. But Chow never chased fame, he chose authenticity. In recent years, he returned to Hong Kong cinema and continued to act in deeply human stories. Famously humble, he lives modestly, donates most of his wealth, and is often seen walking or taking the subway. In 2025, Chow remains beloved, not just as an actor, but as a man of character. At number 2, Jet Li Han singing Romeo Must Die. He was a silent storm in every fight scene. Jet Li, born April 26, 1963, was a martial arts prodigy who became a worldwide action hero. After dominating Chinese cinema, he exploded into Hollywood in the late 90s with Lethal Weapon 4 and Romeo Must Die. His speed, precision, and presence made him an instant icon, but behind the power was painful. Jet faced serious health issues in the 2010s and gradually stepped back from acting. He's since focused on spiritual growth, charity work, and promoting Chinese culture through his One Foundation. In 2025, he remains a revered figure, no longer fighting on screen, but inspiring with wisdom. At number 1, Jackie Chan Lee in Rush Hour. He built bridges with broken bones and a smile. Jackie Chan, born April 7th, 1954, didn't just break into Hollywood, he crashed through it with flips, fights, and fearless charm. In Rumble in the Bronx and Rush Hour, he made martial arts funny, fast, and family-friendly. He was the stuntman, the star, and the heart all in one. But Jackie wasn't content with just being a movie star, he became a legend. He's produced films, mentored young actors, and used his fame for philanthropy across Asia. Still acting in his 70s, Jackie recently starred in Ride On 2023, and Rush Hour 4 is in the works. In 2025, Jackie Chan remains unstoppable proof that passion doesn't age.